So good morning everybody, myself Acharya Vishvendra, and today I'm here to discuss a worksheet on matter waves. So let's discuss the optimal physics worksheet on matter waves. So here is the worksheet. The topic is matter waves here. So the first question is de Broglie wavelength in terms of momentum. So it is h upon p, where h is the Planck's constant and p is the magnitude of linear momentum of the particle. Similarly, it can also be written as lambda is equal to h upon mv. M is mass of particle, v is speed of particle. It can also be written as h by root 2 km. K is kinetic energy of particle, m is mass of particle. It can also be written as h by root 2 qvm, where q is charge on particle and v is the potential through which the charged particle is accelerated. Then is lambda for electron, which is accelerated through v volt. So after calculations, it's come out to be 12.27 by root v angstrom. Then for proton, it comes out to be 0.287 by root v angstrom. For neutron, it is infinity because charge on proton is 0, neutron is 0. So lambda corresponds to infinity. Next is lambda for alpha particle. So it is 0.101 by root v angstrom. Then is lambda in terms of velocity is h upon m into magnitude of velocity, which is also equal to the speed. Next is let's see some graphical questions on this. So first question is lambda versus m graph if speed is constant. So lambda is proportional to 1 upon m. So graph is a rectangular hyperbola. Then we are being given 3 rectangular hyperbolas as corresponded by the graphs 1, 2 and 3. So since lambda is proportional to 1 by v, so we draw a point perpendicular to m. That means m is constant for all the graphs. So we can say that lambda is proportional to 1 by v. So from here you can see that lambda 1 is greater than lambda 2 is greater than lambda 3, which means v1 is less than v2 is less than v3. So third graph corresponds to the highest speed. Next is if m is constant, then lambda is proportional to 1 by v. So again the graph will be rectangular hyperbola. In fourth question there are 3 graphs given. With same logic we can say that if we make v as constant, so lambda is proportional to 1 by m. So greater lambda means smaller the mass. So as we can see from the graph, lambda 1 is greater than lambda 2 is greater than lambda 3. That means m1 is less than m2 is less than m3. There is a graph between lambda and p. So we know that lambda is inversely proportional to linear momentum. So the graph will be rectangular hyperbola. Whereas if we draw graph between lambda and 1 by p, take 1 by p as x, so graph will be a straight line over here. Then is another question that velocity is given as cos t I cap plus sin t j cap plus t k cap. Mass here is 2 kg. So first question is we need to find speed. So speed is magnitude of velocity, which is under root cos square t plus sin square t plus t square. So it sums out to be root over 1 plus t square. In next question we need to find velocity at t is equal to pi by 2 seconds. So substituting t is equal to pi by 2. We have velocity as cos pi by 2 I cap plus sin by pi by 2 j cap plus pi by 2 into k cap. So velocity is j cap plus pi by 2 into k cap. Then in another question we have lambda. So lambda is equal to h upon mv. So m is 2 here, v is root over 1 plus pi square by 4. So it comes out to be this. Similarly, as a function of time, lambda comes out to be h by 2 root 1 plus t square. Another question, lambda versus t graph. So we can say that as t tends to infinity, lambda tends to 0. And at t is equal to 0, lambda will be maximum. So it will be a curve like this. Then we have momentum time graph. So we can say that at t tends to infinity, momentum will tends to infinite. So it will be a graph like this. Similarly, if we draw graph between 1 by p and t, so the graph will be 1 by 2 root 1 plus t square. So it will also be 0 at infinity and initially it will be maximum. So in this way you have seen that we have covered content of up to 1 hour and it can be tested only using this worksheet for a time duration of let's say 3 to 5 minutes. So that is the basic concept behind developing these worksheets. So these worksheets are just an optimization tool to check your learning and to ensure effective results. So if you have any doubt in the comments, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.